Hi, I'm meteorologist Tony Petrarca in the Pinpoint 12 Forecast Center. Taking a look back at the most recent flooding, especially the flooding on the Patuxent River, and going back to some flood history. We're getting a lot of comparisons with the great flood that we had along that river back in 2010. Now, this is what we call it's a hydrograph, and quite simply, it is just a plot that's created by the National Weather Service, and it plots the water level on the Patuxent River. So this blue line represents, actual reports of what the water levels are like. You can clearly see the rapid rise that occurred along that river. And as of right now, Tuesday evening at about 9:30, we have officially crested. So in other words, the Patuxent is crested at about 15 feet. No longer rising, which is good news, but still well above flood stage in the major category. And then the dotted lines represent the forecast, and you can see, it's 6 feet above flood stage. So to reduce that amount of water is going to take several days for this river to recede. So this puts us as one of the highest flood stages that we've seen since 2010. So we take a look at the stats here. And this most recent flooding of 15.11 ranks us as number 2. The all-time high was back in the 2010 flood, March 31st, at over 20 feet. In fact, even before that, on March 15th, we had set a record at 14.98, and then we surpassed that a couple of weeks later on March 31st, 2010. And quite simply, the reason why we had so much rain during that March flooding is the entire month of March was incredibly wet with multiple rainstorms. So for the entire month, it was 16 inches of rain that occurred, and the net result was a river system that just could not handle it, obviously. Now, the most recent flooding that we've had is really a product of two rainstorms. The most recent one, and then one that we had about a week ago. So when you look at the rainfall over the last 10 days, you can clearly see it's pretty much along and northwest of the Route 95 corridor, generally 6 to 10 inches of rain, and that puts us right over the basin of the Patuxent River. So 6 to 10 inches last 10 days in this zone right in here, and then south and east of Route 95, the amounts were 2 to 5. So quite simply, 6 to 10 inches, but then you compare that to 2010 when the entire month of March had about 16 inches of rain, and why that is the all-time record crest for the Patuxent River. But this is certainly impressive. This puts us at number 2, and now that the river has crested, we're going to wait several days for those water levels to come back down. And we've got great news in that the weather is expected to remain dry and storm-free now right through Christmas weekend.